timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot! Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up for the buzzer. He banks it!
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks NBA. As you can see, excuse me, I am here with a very special guest, my man Cahtah Haht. I'm sure if you guys are on TikTok, if you're in the Philly area especially, you know who Cahtah Haht is. You already know he's part of DSM as well. But Cahtah, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight? Given the circumstances, right?
Would have been better if Harden could have made a three.
Yeah, if he could have hit it when it matters, right? And we saw it down the stretch, and we're going to get into that game. Obviously, the Sixers just took the big L to the Bucks tonight, and it was another miserable one where the Sixers get off to a big lead, a 10-plus point lead, blow it, it evaporates within seconds. I mean, Doc leaves the lineup out. We're going to get into it. Before we get started, definitely got to do some housekeeping around the NBA and, of course, just some housekeeping within DSM. Make sure, if you're not already, follow DSM Media on Twitter at DSM_media, on TikTok at DSM Media, and then on Instagram at DSM.DoSomethingMajor. And, of course, you can find me at Scotty Drown. My man Cahtah Haht, if you want to plug yourself, I think it's just Cahtah Haht, right?
It's just Cahtah Haht or
Straightforward.
Like
it's written right there for you, but make sure you're following everybody that's involved here. And make sure if you're not on YouTube, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube watching, click the like button. Make sure you're engaging with the video so we can get you involved in the shows. But just want to go around the NBA really quick. We had a little bit of action aside from the Sixers tonight. So just to start off, we had the Brooklyn Nets. They're in a close one right now with the Detroit Pistons. They should take care of business. They're up 6 with, 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go in that one. But nonetheless, a close game where they need 40 from KD to beat the Detroit Pistons. Of course, we had the Sixers losing to the Bucks, 118-116. We'll get into that. Bulls defeat the Wizards, 107-94. We had the Mavericks destroy the Lakers on national television. I don't know why that game is on TV. But Luka Doncic and the Mavs take care of business there, 128-110. And then we got some late action with the Jazz and Clippers at 10 p.m. But things are tight in the East. That's why it's interesting, because if Brooklyn was to drop this game, which they just went up 122-115, they're probably not, they would have been tied with the 9th seed Charlotte Hornets. So I don't know how they've, evened out during the season who's leading that 4-game series between those two teams. But if they're tied, it's possible that Charlotte could have moved ahead of them in the standings. But nonetheless, that does not matter. Let's get into some Sixers and Bucks. And I really just that's the point of this show tonight. We're really going to recap, dig into this game, and really express our frustrations. So, Cahtah, I'm going to give the floor to you here early. Initial takeaway coming out of this game, thoughts?
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The Sixers aren't good enough to win the finals. They're not. Like, I hate to be negative like this, and I know it's still only the regular season, but they're not making the shots when they count. Harden's got to make that three, and Embiid's got to make that layup. It's that simple. Yeah. Like, if you want to win games in the NBA, you have to hit clutch shots. Yeah. It seems like the Sixers either win in a blowout or they don't win at all because they don't hit clutch shots down the stretch. You put in one little crappy bench lineup and it's over.
Yep.
And if that happens in the playoffs, you're done. It's over.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. It's as simple as that. And the thing that hurt about this game, I feel like, is that it felt like a playoff game almost. Like if this was like the Bucks and Sixers series in the playoffs, we just dropped a playoff level game right there. Like
at home,
right? Like now, given that we're below the Bucks in the seeding now, so we just blew one of the 3 games that we would have at home.
Yeah.
So, just looking at it from that perspective, I'm with you. And it's hard not to take that away from these last 2 games. Like, it's been like clear as day because you're looking at the 2 finals, the 2 finalist teams that we played back to back these last 2 games between the Suns and the Bucks. And they just complete meltdown. And like you said, it's like we watched the Suns, right? And I think I said this in the DSM chat. Chris Paul down the stretch is like just perfect. There's no turnovers. There's no like bad shots. There's no missed shots even in that game. I swear he didn't miss a shot down the stretch. Then you get to this game tonight. Giannis was obviously doing his thing. He was getting to the rack at will. We're going to George Niang. Like, if George Niang is the best you can throw at Giannis, like that might. And
where did Matisse go?
It worked the last game, the last time they played the Bucks, and I guess that's why they went to it again. You cannot do that in a 7-game series. He'll run Niang into the ground. Like it's not a good look, man. And just to kind of finish off on kind of coattailing your point there, Drew Holiday in this game, Chris Middleton down the stretch, water from the 3-point line. Drew Holiday, big 3-pointer down the stretch, big layups in the lane, clutch bucket after clutch bucket by the Bucks. And the Sixers, they were hanging in there. Embiid was trying. And then you get those last 2 possessions, and it's like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing? Like even the possession, I think you texted me and you were like, what the hell is Niang doing out there? And like, it looked like the game was over at that point, right? And then they foul Giannis. He misses one and keeps us in the game. Embiid, like, I don't understand. Like, move the ball. It doesn't, like, the game doesn't change at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like, he dribbles and turns around into like 2 people and shoots the shot, and it's just like game over. You know what I mean? Like, just the decision making down the stretch is like the overlying theme here. And like, let's talk about Doc. Like, I don't even know what to say anymore, man. Like, it's like we know what we're going to get. It's like you said, we know what we're going to get, right? Like with Doc Rivers in this team.
Yeah, I don't even know what you could do at this point. Like, it's like I try to defend him sometimes, and now it's just like you put in that same bench lineup every other night.
It's not working.
And it does the same fucking thing every single night. When are you going to decide, oh, maybe this doesn't work? They got to do something different. Like, when George Niang or Tyrese Maxey or somebody's off, put somebody else in the game.
It's as simple as that.
I mean, I'm kind of joking around saying Furkan Korkmaz, but I'm not. If they're not hot, put somebody else in.
Yeah, simple as that. And that's something I was going to point out tonight. I absolutely love Tyrese Maxey, and I know you do too. Yeah. He's having a shitty night. He's not playing well. He didn't play well last game either. He could use some time to gather himself, right? He's a young player. It's okay for him to not finish one game. It is. It's like read the room. Because when that happened, it's when they had, I think it was the lineup with Tobias and Tyrese Maxey on the floor at the same time. James Harden and Embiid were off the floor. And that's when Giannis just went supernova on the fucking Sixers and like ended the game, basically. They took all the momentum. Like at that point, I felt like we were
12?
Yeah, I felt like we were fighting to stay in the game at that point. Like we couldn't breathe. And it's just crazy when you go into the fourth quarter with what, like an 8 or 10 point lead. It doesn't make sense. And what it comes down to, what I'm coming to the realization is exactly what you said. Doc Rivers isn't changing. He is who he is, right? Like, and it just seems like this team does not have enough. You have to go to Harden, you have to go to Embiid every single possession down the stretch. And it just won't work. We don't have the guys around them that can hit the shots, like you've said. And there's nowhere to turn at this point. Like the backup center position, there's nowhere to turn for a backup center at this point. You haven't played Bassey or Paul Reed all season. You can't throw them in now. They haven't played all season. So like it's amazing to see where we're at. And I'm not gonna like totally just throw them out the window and be like, oh, they're not gonna like be able to win anything in a play. I don't know about the championship. I don't know about even getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's sad to say, but the road in the Eastern Conference is going to be miserable, and we're going to run into the Bucks in the second round.
Yeah,
we're going to run into them in the second round, and you'll be lucky if we don't play like fucking fucking Brooklyn in the first round somehow. Like, just be lucky to not play them in the first round. And, you know, what it comes down to is, and what we have to realize is that if Embiid and Harden aren't going, you know, fucking supernova every single game in the playoffs, it's a good chance we're going to lose that game.
Yeah. and tonight was the first time it felt like for a little bit there, Harden was really in control of the game.
Yeah.
And he looked like the Harden that we thought we were going to get. And then the last 5 minutes came and he reverted again. I'm like, what happened? Like, you were just taking over the game. You looked like the star that you were supposed to be.
Doesn't make sense.
And all of a sudden, gone.
Does not.
I don't know if it's because Doc pulled him when he was hot or what. But sometimes you got to read these players better.
Yeah.
Like, if a guy is hot, don't take him off the floor yet. I know he needs a little bit of rest, but if he's hot, rest don't matter.
It's like you just said, read the room. Tyrese Maxey, 40 minutes tonight. He played the most minutes out of anybody tonight. And he was the worst player on the floor. Like, I just don't get it, man. He was literally the worst player on the floor tonight. He was -6. That was the worst on the team tonight.
Yeah.
And you just run him out there for 40 minutes. And that's when the lead evaporated, is when Harden was off the floor, losing his rhythm, everything that he was building in the game. Ah, man. So let's go through a little bit of numbers, give a little bit of stats here. So we obviously had Embiid, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 block, 11 for 21 from the field. He started out really slow, but the team actually picked up everything around him for once. James Harden, as you mentioned, had a very hot start. Even had a big shot in the fourth, just not down the stretch. 32 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 9 for 17 from the field. Maxey, 40 minutes, 7 points, 3 for 11 from the field, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. Tobias Harris, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 10 for 19 from the field. Danny Green and Niang both contributed in 3 threes from the bench, but Niang has not been shooting the ball well. He got hot there at the end, but he has not been looking good from beyond the arc. On the other side, we had Giannis with 40 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Drew Holiday, as I mentioned, down the stretch, 18 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Chris Middleton, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Brook Lopez, 17 points and 4 for 9 from the 3-point line. And, you know, I heard you I heard you say something to that Giannis stat line. And it's insane, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. And so
that's an MVP candidate.
That was gonna be my very exact next question. Did that just solidify? I won't say solidify. Did that just put Giannis in the lead completely? Do you think so?
I mean, I don't know, because you look at Embiid's stat line too. I mean, he had 29, 14, and 7. For a center, that's really good as well.
Yeah.
The problem is, who won the game?
I know. And that's
who got the game-winning block?
And that's what I think, that's what I hate about this, because regardless of voters and how they say they, are fair and non-biased, there's no way when you go into voting that this game doesn't pop up in the back of your head with Giannis blocking Embiid's shot at the end of the game for the game-winning block. Yeah. And simply put here, Cahtah, Embiid dunked that shit, bro. I was
thinking that too. I'm like, I don't know how you dunk over Giannis, but he's 7'2". I'm sure he can do it.
Just attempt it and you'll get fouled at least. Go up strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? I get it. He was just trying to get it up quick, but you got to be aware. You got to be ready, man. And a lot of that game, I don't know if you saw it down the stretch. There was a long rebound that came out, and Tobias Harris was right here, and Chris Middleton was right here.
And
Chris
Tobias just
Middleton
stopped.
ran and got it, and Tobias
Yep.
didn't even attempt to run after it.
I was gonna say something about that, but I'm like, let me get off Tobias a little bit because
Nah.
I'm on Tobias all the time.
He had a for overall, he had a good game, but that was
Yeah.
one point in the game where I looked at it and I was like, this team ain't right, man.
That and then the passing behind him
Yeah.
on a fast break. I'm like, I know
He gets
Maxey's
nervous.
cold, but like just
Be strong with the ball, bro. Like you are a ball handler.
yeah.
Handle the ball, bro.
Well, that
Like,
and Embiid just looked bad defensively tonight.
he did.
And it's felt like that over the past couple of weeks. Like he is nowhere near the defensive presence that he was before.
I agree.
And I don't
Because he
know
bored. Like
why.
you can't get bored.
I guess he's bored or just
Great
not putting
players
in the
don't
same
get bored,
effort.
man.
Like it doesn't look like the same Embiid we saw
I agree,
earlier
man.
this season defensively.
Because like when it comes down to the stretch, man, I just want to see our team be the team that like takes the steering wheel. You know what I
They
mean?
should have put that game away. You're up by 10. There's no reason to lose
Yeah.
that game.
And you know, it always comes back to this. It's like when you get down the stretch, right? Chris Paul's not giving up a lead like that.
No.
That's never happening. KD even. You know what I mean? Like try getting a lead from KD. It's gonna make it the hardest in the world, man.
Yeah.
Like
LeBron ain't giving up that lead. Like the
LeBron,
top players in
yeah.
the league aren't giving that up.
And it's like, is it coaching? Like, is it because Embiid didn't start the fourth quarter and Giannis did? Is that simply why that game turned out that way?
I have no clue. I don't know if it's internal stuff going on. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I know they still need time to gel.
Yeah.
But you got to
but-
start gelling real quick. You don't have much time now.
Yeah, it's the fashion that they're losing. That's
Yeah.
what it is for me. Like it's not that they're it's a 2-point loss to the Bucks. They're the defending champions for God's sake, but it's just the way they just crumble down the stretch, and you can just see it coming. Like
Yeah.
at halftime, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like we're up 10. Like should we just not be up 10? Like
Yeah.
would that be better for us?
It might be. Well, and the other thing is we're counting on Maxey to be the third star, sometimes even the second star. And
Is that
if he
too
doesn't
much?
have that juice, they just don't have it. Like it just doesn't feel like James can just go get a bucket when he needs to get it.
Yeah.
If it's been feeling like Maxey could do that. I don't know what happened to him tonight. I don't know if Holiday's just that good defensively, but obviously they were doing something to Tyrese that was just giving him fits.
It's weird.
Yeah.
The last 2 games, he's just looked kind of timid almost. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's so weird because then, like, other games, he's just, like, exploding and, you know, telling the fans at Wells Fargo to, like, raise their hands. It's definitely weird. And now I'm just taking a look at the standings now. So the Sixers dropped down to the 4 seed with that loss, which it's not the worst thing in the world.
Weren't they the 1 seed like 2 days ago?
Yeah, literally for like 1 second. It's funny because all Sixers fans were posting it everywhere, and like they were only leading by percentages of win, like their win percentages, not actual record wise.
Yeah.
So they were like technically tied anyways, and then they lost to the Suns and dropped to like 4, I believe, and then they went back up because I think some team lost last night. Boston lost last night, so they moved back up. But now Milwaukee's the 2 seed. And Boston is a 3 seed, so they move ahead of the Sixers. And we are a half game back from Boston, a full game back from Milwaukee. So it's not the worst thing in the world being the 4 seed, but it's just in the fashion that we got there. But you play the Bulls in that case, so that's probably best case scenario. What do you think about that?
The Bulls worry me too.
Bulls,
I mean, I think the Cavs are the team that I'd want to play in the first round.
They're the 7th seed right now,
but
which they'll probably drop to 8.
The East is so strong right now. Like, I really do not want to face the Nets at all. I feel like they would have us pretty easily. I feel confident against the Heat. I think they could take the Heat, but Jimmy Butler scares me anytime in the playoffs.
Yeah, you just never know if he's gonna go nuclear. Like
the Bucks, I don't want anything to do with whatsoever.
Yeah,
The Celtics,
Nets,
same thing.
Yeah,
Celtics scare me too.
Celtics are scared. They did just lose Robert Williams, so that's a big thing just for defensive reasons as far as Embiid, but
Hasn't
still a
bothered me
dangerous team.
before.
Tatum's playing out of his mind. Like he's a
Yeah.
guy who can drop 50 any night. So yeah, you're right. It's down the line. And I mean, the good thing about all these Eastern Conference teams, it seems like everybody has their stars now. Because
Yeah.
even Cleveland, Darius Garland is a star. Like he did make the All-Star team, and he can light it up. He's not at he's not at that
He's not there yet, but he could be.
He could get there. But it is interesting. And even Toronto, man, I don't want no parts of that. Like in the first round, I don't want that in the first round, bro.
Can we just get a bye week?
Because you know what it comes down to, man? I look at all these matchups. It's like, where do we have a coaching advantage?
We don't have one.
There's none. Maybe
No.
maybe the Nets.
Maybe.
But does that matter?
I mean,
Does it
KD
matter
and
against the
Tyrese
Nets?
scared the living shit out of me.
Right. So coaching, doesn't
especially with the
really
whole
matter.
Harden dynamic there, which looks like he doesn't want to play against Brooklyn at all.
I know that. Yeah. And you even go back to that game, man. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to just throw everything I've said about the Sixers out. It's not that. I'm starting to realize that it is going to take exactly Harden and Embiid playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
And Tobias Harris suddenly becoming consistent. Tyrese Maxey being a third or fourth star every single night. No 7-point games. We've seen this 7 points against the Bucks tonight. How much did he have the other night against the Suns? He didn't play well. He hit some shots down the stretch. I'll give him that. He did hit some shots down the stretch. I think he ended with 17 or 18. But even against the Nets, he had the 4-point outing. That just can't happen against these big marquee matchups with the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and they need Matisse to play well too. Matisse has to be locked down in the playoffs. He can't be getting ran through, taking a bunch of fouls.
Yeah.
That's the one guy you're supposed to have defensively out there to help you. But I don't see it with this team. I don't think they had enough depth before, and now it's just hopefully they gel. That's all we can I don't know. Hopefully James Harden decides, oh, let me go back to Houston Harden and win a championship. But
right. So what? Yeah, let's talk about Harden just a bit, and we'll keep this probably close to 30 minutes. We'll be cutting it short tonight just because it is late. But Harden, he comes out. We talked about it a little bit, but comes out. Against the Clippers, has the 29-point outing. He looks like a completely different player. Comes out against the Suns. Is it something with playing against old teammates, like CP3 and then, I don't know, but he looked like shit. He only took 11 shots against the Suns. And then tonight we get, the 32 points, a couple 3-pointers tonight. He played a lot better, right? And I will take this night from Harden, although down the stretch, like we've mentioned several times, you want to see him hit those shots. I will take a 32-point night from Harden.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask you is why is it so inconsistent? Why does he look like day and night between some of these games? Is it just his age? When he has a game like that against the Clippers, does it take that much of a toll on him to that point where he's playing that bad against the Suns?
He's still obviously it's pretty clear to me he still has a talent. The talent's not the problem.
Yeah.
I just don't think his head's in it at all. There's just no energy out of him. He hits a shot and he's kind of just nonchalant about it. I don't know, maybe I'm expecting more of a huge crowd reaction and him hyping the crowd up and doing the Joel Embiid thing.
Yeah.
But he kind of did it a little bit when he first got here, but since then it's kind of just oh, I had a 3, nice, and walk back on defense.
And that's
the energy's just not there. And it's not there with the whole team right now. I don't know what it is.
I agree with that. It's just weird right now. It looks like every other team wants it more. It's odd. It's the same old Sixers.
I don't know if they're just coasting in the playoffs, if that's their goal.
It could be.
And just going to turn it all in the playoffs. But I just don't think that's a good strategy at all.
No.
And if that hamstring really is bothering Harden that much, sit him.
Yeah.
All it's going to do is make it worse.
You look at the standings in the East right now, we're 2.5 games ahead of the Bulls right now. So you have some opportunities to definitely sit Harden, and you have some opportunities to sit Embiid down the stretch. I don't know if Embiid
Yeah.
will, just because he's going to try to go for the MVP.
Yeah, Embiid's going for that MVP, and that may be a reason the Harden isn't going either. I feel like there's some preconceived notion that we're going to feed you as much as possible, Embiid, to get you that MVP.
Yeah, and it's like once, because like on a night like this is a night where Harden can go for 40. Like, go ahead.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you're on tonight. You're feeling it. He
go
hit a
for it.
mid-range, he hit some floaters, he hit 3-pointers, he's getting to the rag, he's getting to the foul line. Like, you got to assert yourself. So maybe that is part of it, man. That's a good point.
Just take over. Like
So
that's just now I don't know if he's that kind of player anymore, but that's what I thought we were getting in him. A
yeah.
guy that can take over a game and win a game for you at the end. And it just didn't seem like that, and it hasn't seemed like that yet. I was thinking Harden was a guy who, okay, we can sit and be for a night and be fine because Harden can take over a game. That's not what it looks like right now at all.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing I will say, just about this team and even about tonight, like down the stretch, I honestly, I hate to say it, I almost trust Maxey more than like any of these guys down the stretch, like in the big moment. Like, I think, like in my head, I think Maxey could have possibly, and mind you, we would have been, crucifying them if they did, and he misses a
Yeah.
game-winning shot.
Well, because of how bad he was tonight. Yeah. Why are you
Right. But
yeah.
I there's this part of me that believes that he has a better chance of hitting the shot. Like,
Yeah.
just simply put, and
He's fearless.
he is. He's fearless. He's not afraid, man. And I think that's the difference. Down the stretch in these moments, it's like you said, like it's cool when you're playing like Cleveland and it's like, ooh, big three and like flex down the stretch. But tonight it was Drew Holiday and Giannis, going in and dunking and like taking the ball down the entire court. And
Which was a travel, by the way, but
yeah, I mean,
and there
oh
was
my
more
God.
than 1.5 seconds left on the clock when he got blocked. So
Can we, yeah, bro. And Giannis tipped the
like-
ball out.
yeah.
Like at some point, it's clear he hit the ball out of bounds. Like it's not an unsuccessful recovery. Like he blocked the shot. Okay, so you took the time that the ball went out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't give us the ball under the basket. They made us jump ball. Like, make that shit make sense. But I want to talk to you about, and we don't have to get into this too much because, like, I get it. But my God, Allah and Kate were just so annoying tonight, man. And it's really hit or miss for me. Some nights I'm like, and maybe it's when they win or lose. Maybe that's the difference.
that might
But
be it. Yeah.
they are super annoying when they lose. And like Allah and like they were like salivating over Giannis at the end of the game, like all throughout the game, bro. And it makes me sick.
Dude, it just like I know it was a big shot by George Niang, but Kate Scott just said bang bang George Niang, and I just got like so pissed off. And then I'm pretty sure the Bucks just went down and just hit a 3-pointer right then. I'm like, I hate Kate Scott.
Bang bang George Niang. What the fuck are we doing here?
I'm like, come on, please. The dude is 3 for his last 60.
Oh my goodness, man. And I think my problem is more with Allah, but it is just moments like that are like almost cringy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I just don't think they work together well.
Yeah.
And
I
I still don't think Kate is right for this city. But I'm not gonna. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
Like, there's some nights Kate Scott is very good, but it's just like little things like bang bang George Niang.
And like
That's
little
the only thing that sticks for me from the whole broadcast is that. It's just
and
like,
it shouldn't.
it's stupid. But
Or like when they say our guy in B, like
oh my God. Like, I don't know why they keep pushing George Niang on us so much during these broadcasts, but
yeah.
I feel like it's every night. Him and Danny Green, like the worst shooters on the team.
And then
Pushing every night.
I'll see him like dribble into a fall and like lose the ball out of bounds, like while he's trying to dribble against Giannis. Like when he's
And
bad, he
they
is
keep saying it's a
bad.
foul on that, but like when Embiid actually gets hacked at the rim, oh no, that was clean.
The refs are crazy, and don't get me wrong, I think they're just overall just like bad. Like I think the refs are just bad as a whole. But my God, like, did you see the one earlier when Chris Middleton just bumps Matisse while he's on the way to the ball?
Yeah. What was that?
Just out of bounds, like, and then when Middleton tripped over his own feet, Danny Green's just guarding him up the floor.
Oh,
Middleton just trips over his own feet, like. I don't know, but I'm not gonna like sit here and like blame
they
it on the
didn't lose
refs
this game
either.
because of the refs. They lost it because they suck.
Yeah, let's keep it real here on Scotty Talks NBA, Scotty Talks Sixers. This ain't it, guys. We need to see. There's nothing they can do the rest of the season that can like make me think differently than what I am now. I don't think. Like you play the Pistons, you play the Hornets. Cavs is probably the best team, or they play the Raptors as well. So the Hornets, Cavs, Pacers, Raptors, Pacers, Pistons.
I need a Harden 40-point game.
Something. We need like some excitement, like something.
Yeah, something.
Like if it's against the Raptors, like give it to us, like exciting. Give us some energy with it.
We need that like game-winning. Like I remember when they first got Butler. Was it 2 or 3 games he had just game-winning shots?
Yeah.
We need something like that with Harden that
like
just gives
invigorating.
Something that gives this team energy.
I agree.
They seem dead right now.
They do, man.
Like, besides Maxey, and even Maxey tonight looked dead. But
it's like weighing down on him all the way now.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if he's spending too much time at the club or what, but they got to do something.
Yeah, get the fuck out of the clubs, guys.
The violence ain't it, yo.
We're about to be at the playoffs. Yeah, nah. And like I guess what we could say as far as expectations. So you got the Hornets, Cavs, Pacers, Raptors, Pacers, Pistons down the stretch. So you play the Pacers and Pistons twice down the stretch these last 7 games. You got the Hornets, Cavs, and Raptors who are at least in like the play-in scenarios. So I don't want to see us like scraping for wins. And like you said, if it is like if you have a close game with the Cavs, because they played us pretty close all season, I guess, or even the Raptors. Like you said, we need like a 40-point Harden game to like stomp on the Raptors, or like or a 35-point Harden game with like a 29 or 30-point Embiid game to like stomp out the Cavs and like really just annihilate them early. Like we need to have like some type of statement games, and I still don't think it's enough to convince you otherwise, because you had your opportunities against the title contenders that we know, and for the most part they blew it.
I need to see them stomp one of those bad teams by 40.
Yeah.
We've been stomped by 40 multiple times this year. We need to do it to some other team.
Yeah, prove that you can do it. Like you have a 5-point win against the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like that's not great without LeBron, without AD. Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just going back. Like
I mean, they beat the Bucks that one time before Harden got here.
Did. Yeah, right before Harden. And it's almost like that was like the excitement, right? Like, oh, Harden's coming. Like, we just got to survive. They beat the Heat.
Grizzlies.
They beat the Heat without Embiid or Harden. So it's like that doesn't really count in my eyes. Like, it's just not there. It's not the full team. Like, it's a good win,
team,
but it's just not the team. Lost to the Raptors before that. Beat the Mavs by 10. That was a solid win. They beat the Cavs by 4. Nuggets, lost to the Nuggets, got blown out by the Nets. A 2-point win over Orlando. Yeah, I mean, like, what's the bet?
They shouldn't have won that game.
Over the Bulls, like 121 to 106. Like, the Bulls aren't that good against good teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to find out very soon. We're talking about it. We're predicting. We're trying to look in the crystal ball that doesn't exist. But we're going to find out very soon. Any closing thoughts tonight before we get out of here, Cahtah, about this game, about this Sixers team? Let's try to be positive to end the show. What is something, finalize? I know you said something about Harden, a 40-point game. What is something that you really need to see over the next, the end of the season that's going to convince you maybe that the Sixers can be maybe a second-round team that can give a team a fight? I
need to see it's not even just a point thing. I need to see energy. Like, I got to see excitement from the team. I'm not going to get excited over the team if they're not excited too.
Yeah.
And it might be a game-winning shot. It may be Harden dropping 40. I don't know what it is, but they need some kind of excitement.
Because
And
even
they just don't look anything right now. They look lifeless. They look like they don't have an identity. And it feels like the last couple years going into the playoffs all over again.
It does, man. And the thing, like you said, like it doesn't even have to be Harden per se. It doesn't have to be, I would prefer it not to be Maxey because he seems like he's been the last couple exciting games that we've had. It could even be Embiid. Like in this game, man, it's your perfect opportunity to solidify. You had 37 and 11 against Phoenix, which is a great stat line. You put up a great fight against the best team in the league. You could have came out tonight. I know like 29-14 at 7. It's still a great game. Giannis was better, man. And
Harden hits that 3 tonight. This is a statement win at that point.
Different. It's a whole different narrative.
It's a statement win at that point.
That's why I'm trying not to panic so much. But it's also like we need Harden to hit one of those shots before we're going to believe it at this point.
Yeah.
Down the stretch. Like hit
all we've heard from haters is that Harden isn't clutch. Harden doesn't care anymore. Harden isn't good anymore. And it sucks because it really feels like I'm starting to believe that even though I shouldn't be.
I know. You don't want to jump the gun too early, but it's fitting the narrative right now. He's fitting the narrative in a sense. So we got to hope for the best. I'm going to say, just finish out this season. I don't even know. You don't have to go like undefeated or anything. Get some guys some rest down the stretch. If Embiid wants to go for the MVP, definitely show up for those Cavs, the Hornets, Raptors, actual playoff teams at least. That could somewhat get him, I don't know if he's lost the lead after tonight.
He needs to drop 50 again.
Yeah, like to solidify himself. Like otherwise, if there's any question marks, he's not getting it.
Yeah.
Like if there's any questions, it's going to go to Jokic.
He needs to finish over 30 points a game, and he needs to drop 50 one more time.
Yeah. Simply put, I think that's a good marker, to solidify him as MVP. So we'll leave it at that. Gotta hope for better, man. And I appreciate you coming on here late night with me, man, getting this in.
No problem.
And recapping after a loss. It's never easy, to be excited on a pod to like really dig. Like it's easy to shit on teams. Don't get me wrong. Like it's very easy to talk about the negatives, but it's not easy to get up for it, right? So yeah. I appreciate you coming on here, Cahtah. If you want to let my listeners, everybody, obviously, this should be streaming on Cahtah's YouTube page as well. So obviously, if you're on Cahtah's page, come over to DSM, hit the subscribe button there. If you're over on DSM page watching my show, be sure, same thing, go subscribe to Cahtah's YouTube page. And then Cahtah, if you want to just let everybody else know where to find you on all the other socials, I believe it's still just Cahtah Haht.
Yeah, it's either Cahtah Haht or Cahtah Haht 79. Grease the Pole show, I think episode 3 will be coming out. I guess it's technically going to be today at 3:45. So check that out. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Scotty. This is fun.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again, my man. And make sure you check out Grease the Poles with my man Cahtah and Cole. They are the young boys, and they're bringing us up here on DSM. I'm loving the energy that they're bringing. And definitely check it out tomorrow after you check out Scotty Talks NBA. But for myself, for DSM, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to DSM_media. That's going to be it for this episode, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.